Om Akhandamandalakaram Yaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaya. Welcome to this Tuesday session on Bhagavad Gita. In the absence of Swami Purnananji, who conducts this class regularly, and you all know that he has gone to India. So we are utilizing this hour thinking on the 4 important yogas spoken by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. The first week we saw, or we gave an introduction about the 4 yogas, and the second week we went in some detail about Karma Yoga. What are these 4 yogas? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Raja Yoga. These are the 4 yogas. Of these we saw Karma Yoga. So today we shall spend some time in thinking about this Jnana Yoga. This term Jnana Yoga, if you translate in English, the yoga of knowledge. Jnana means knowledge, and yoga means that is a tool to unite. That is the meaning. Now, as we saw in Karma Yoga, in Jnana Yoga also, certain basic principles are there. What is knowledge? What is referred as knowledge by Sri Krishna is not that what we usually consider it as knowledge. For instance, if you are a mathematics teacher, you can be termed as, oh, you have a good knowledge of mathematics. If you are an IT expert, then people say you have got a good knowledge of IT. So we actually take the knowing of a particular subject as knowledge. Does the Vedanta consider that as knowledge or something different? So in Vedanta we find the knowledge is divided into 2 types. One is Paravidya, another is Aparavidya. Paravidya means the supreme wisdom, and another is the lower wisdom, or not supreme. So what are these things, supreme and not supreme? Para and Apara, these are the 2 words that are used in Vedanta. So anything that you learn, anything you come to know of, that which helps you to earn money, to maintain your families, and to bring you products and give you the capability to purchase, of all these things are called Aparavidya. That means any type of knowledge that you acquire, that which helps you in the mundane world. But there is one type of Vidya which may not do all these things, but which is much beyond these things. And that is called Paravidya. For instance, all these things that I told about this Aparavidya, they are information. So if you learn mathematics, you get information about mathematics subject. Likewise, whatever we know in this world, you find it we are all having information about that. But that doesn't become knowledge unless it goes into your being. So, in us there is one being, and that being is called Atman. So, this jnana here that we refer is to that being which is inside in each of one of us. That is knowledge of the self. This knowledge of the self is a very important thing, because once you come to know of this knowledge of the self, you don't need to know anything else. So in the search for the knowledge of the self, our ancients went on searching and searching. What is it? Can I get this knowledge? Can I get this knowledge about myself? So they went on searching for that. And finally they found out, yes, there is something within me. So in this Jnana Yoga, you don't need to depend on anybody. That is one great advantage of Jnana Yoga. And that gives, unlike the other yogas, you don't need to depend upon even God. Suppose you don't believe in the existence of God, it doesn't matter. This Jnana Yoga is a step to find out who am I. So I am who? If you ask me who are you, I will naturally tell I am Swami Vimokshananda. You will say your name. If each one will say his name. But if you analyze yourself, are you that? Then you find strangely this name came much later. I got this name at the age of my 30. So before that I had some other name. And before having that name, a few weeks have gone without any name also, after my birth. So the name comes afterwards, and I start associating myself with the name, and I say, I am that name. For instance, this name I told you. Likewise, the body. The body is, we are all having the body, and through the body we function. And am I the same body which I had at the age of 5? Am I having the same body at the age of 25? Am I having the same body at the age of 55? You take all these stages of development of the body has been constantly changing. There is not one single moment of the body cells that doesn't undergo change. So the change is a constant. Though the change is constant and constant and constant, I am feeling that I am this body. It's very strange. The body that I had at the age of 5 and 25 and 55 are no more at the age of 75. But still I am feeling that I am that body. How much we have attached to the body, our mind has been completely attached to the body, you can see. Though the same body is not there. If the body has been changing, and naturally the I feeling that I am the body is wrong. So Vedanta says, no, you are not the body. Then, if I am not the body, can I say that I am the mind? Because I have a mind of my own. And everyone has got a mind of his own. Can I say that I am the mind? The Vedanta says, no, you can't say you are the mind. Because just like body that has been born and then it existed and then it grew and then it changed and then finally it falls down. So like this body changes, likewise mind also is getting changes. If you see what have been your thought level at the age of 5 and then 25 and then 55, you'll be vastly surprised. What I thought certain things at the age of 25, no more valid now at the age of 55 because I have got lot of experiences in the life. So what I thought God is such and such at the age of 15, I do not think now. Now my idea about God has evolved, has changed. So the mind also is changing. Constantly the mind is changing. It is getting new ideas. If you say even 1 year before, where were you? And there's certain ideas that you have, after coming to the Vedanta center, certain ideas that you have got were not there before coming to Vedanta center. So there was a change in the perception about our experiences. The experiences gather and they change the perception. So the mind is constantly in a flux. It is changing. So what is changing? How can you call it I am that? You cannot say. But the I is there continuously, it is going on. When I was a young boy, I used to say I am so and so. The same I is continuing now also. I has not changed. So what is that I? If it is not body, if it is not mind, then what? So the body is called Sthula Sharira, the gross physical body. In the physical body, there is a subtle body which is called Sukshma Sharira. So what happens to the body when it dies? You know, the death is a very big subject, and there are many places, even in our all religious faith meet, etc., we discuss about the death according to each religion, how each religion views about death. So you find there are different ideas are there. But one thing is common to all the religions of the world. What is the common? They say,
afterlife.
Yes, they say that death is only to the body. There is something life after the death. That belief is there in every religion. So what is that leaves the body and stays on? The body is dead, so you either, as the Hindu method, you either burn it, or the Christian method or Islamic method, you bury the dead body. In the previous civilizations, you find in Egypt, etc., what they did? They buried the body under the pyramid. And if an emperor is dead, poor fellows, the servants of the emperor, though they are living, they are also buried there. So that's what we find in the history. So now you see that bodies are buried or it is burned, it doesn't matter. But after this, there is a life or something within the body. So what is that? So that is called in Vedanta Sukshma Sharira, this subtle body. The subtle body has got 4 elements. Man, Chitta, Buddhi, Ahankar. There is the mind and the container of the thoughts, that is thoughts, the container of thoughts, and then the Buddhi, that is the intellect, and then the I-ness. Combined with the 5 kinds of the life force, which is called prana. Prana is a very beautiful word. You all must have known this word because you all do yoga. So when you practice yoga, we teach what is called pranayama, a method where you try to inhale the breath and exhale the breath and then retain the breath. These are the 3 functions we do when you do pranayama. So close this nostril like that. By left nostril, you take in, and the right nostril you leave out. And then with both the nostril you close with the 2 fingers, and then you retain the breath. So this comes in one of the practice of yoga. So when you do this pranayama, so the prana is a life force, it is called. So when a man is dead, in India they say the prana, the life force, has left him. So it has left him. So this man has fallen down. So his body is now lying there. The prana is no more there. If the prana is there, he will be active. He will look. He can hear. He can walk. He can do all the physical activities with the help of the prana. When the prana leaves, the life force leaves the body falls. And it is called death. Now this body is not me. And what is there inside? That Sukshma Sharira, the subtle body, is also not me. If you say that I am that Sukshma Sharira, that is also wrong, because that also changes. And that goes from one place to another. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. Gita says in the Gita that how this death and then birth after death comes is the body, within the body there is a dehinaha. There is one indweller. There is someone who is inside this body. And to him, the body's growth is like this: childhood, then youth, and then old age. Like that, he goes on. The death is nothing but from childhood to the adult. From adult you go into old age. How the change is there? Likewise, the body has got a change. It falls down and again takes up another body. So it's called rebirth. So I have born now, and when I die, I am going to take another birth. So that's called rebirth. And in philosophy, it is called theory of reincarnation. So this has been a very vast subject. What is reincarnation? How the reincarnation takes place, and then where it going to end, etc. So the sages say that this taking birth and getting death is a cycle. This cycle goes on and on and on as if for eternity. When it started, we do not know. But our sages say it can be stopped at one place. How do you stop this? Get the knowledge, jnana. When you get the knowledge of who you are, the death cannot deter you. There is no death for you. That is called eternal life. When death is no more, there no more can make you fear. When death doesn't dare to come near you, you have attained an eternal life. That means there is no more birth, no more death. If there is a birth, there must be a death. In Puranas, in one story comes, one Asura, one demon king, he did a lot of penance. And then 1000 years he did penance. And then Lord Brahma appeared before him. What do you want? You did so much of penance, I want to give you a boon. Take it. So that Asura, that demon said, look, I don't want to die at all. Then Lord Brahma said, well, that is not possible. Since you have taken birth, you must die. Birth and death go together. You cannot say, shall never die, because you have taken birth. But ask any other boon, I will give you. Then that demon thought, and then he thought about, he thought he is very intelligent. So he thought, how do people die? He analyzed. People die either in the daytime or in the night time. 2 times are there, day and night. So he told Brahma, I shall not die in the daytime, I shall not die in the night time. Thinking, I will not die. Brahma said, okay, granted. Then he thought, how people die? People die either in the house or outside the house. So he said, I should not die within the house, I should not die outside the house. He said, okay. Then people, how the people die? They are getting into accident or some weapons attack them. So he said, no weapon should attack me. No animal should attack me. He said, okay. So one by one, all the dualities he was asking. And Brahma said, okay, okay, okay. And this man thought, this demon thought, I am very intelligent. I have put Brahma in a fix now. Now how the death will come to me? He thought, death will never come to me. Because I have put on. Even he asked that, I shall not die on the ground. Neither I shall die on the sky. Brahma said, okay. Now the death has to come to him. So long years he was ruling the world. 3 worlds he was ruling. And the Puranas, their mythology says that he was such a cruel king. And he told everyone, don't worship God, worship me. I am the God. Because I have got deathless boon. Not knowing it was not deathless. And then the Purana says that he had a son. The son was born devoted to Lord Hari. That is Narayana or Vishnu. Another name is Vishnu. He was very drawn to Vishnu and he said, Vishnu is my God. And then the father said, no, I am your God because I have no death. There is no Vishnu here. Like that he was telling. Finally, the Vishnu appeared before him and killed that demon. How did he get the death? If you find, Vishnu took him by his hands and sat in the entrance door, where the entrance door is there. There he sat. It is neither inside nor outside the house. In the middle he sat. Because he has got a boon, he will not die on the floor, on the earth, neither on the sky. So he took him and put him on his lap. It is neither on the ground nor on the sky. And he said, no weapon should be used. No animal should kill me. So he came in the form of a half animal, half man. It is called Narasimha. And then he killed him by the lion's nails that he had. With that he broke him. Then he said, neither in the daytime nor in the night time. So he chose the evening time, when the day is leaving and the night is entering. The joining time is called Sandhya. It's the evening time. Twilight, we say. So the twilight time, what happens? 2 time things are there. Twilight is either in the morning or the evening, you can see. If the morning, the night is going away and the day is coming, that's called twilight. And the same thing happens in the evening. The day goes away, the night comes in. So he chose that time. So what is meant by the story is, one of the lessons that we learn from the story is, if you are born, death is a must. You cannot escape. But then, human mind is such, it searches for somewhere eternity, somewhere eternal life is there. Where is the eternal life? Is this birth and death, if it is very common, is this cycle is there? Is there any way that I can jump out of this cycle? Can I go out of the cycle and find out, is there any life that can be called eternal life, where there is no death is there? Then the sages, by following the 4 yogas, they practiced and they found out, yes, there is a place is there where there is no birth and no death also. If there is no death, what is that? They found out that particular thing which has got no birth and no death is actually within myself. And I am searching outside. Where is the eternal life? Where is the eternal life? I am searching outside. What a funny thing. So the Vedanta gives a good example. There is one kind of deer. It's called musk deer. The musk deer has got in its navel, there is a musk comes out. You know, that which comes out from that navel gets solidified and it stays there. And that, when you take it out, it's called musk. And it gives a wonderful fragrance. And the deer looks around here and there. It doesn't know where the fragrance is coming. Such a wonderful fragrance I'm getting. Let me search for that. So it goes on searching all over the jungle. It goes into the forest, left side, right side, east, west, north, south. It's searching, not knowing the musk fragrance is coming from its own navel. So that is called ignorance. It's called avidya. This ignorance is equated with darkness. And knowledge is equated with bright light. So when the light comes, the ignorance falls away. Ignorance does not remain. So when the knowledge dawns upon you that you are that Atman, I am not the body, I am not the thoughts, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the I that I am telling every time I. Neither, none of the things in the world is mine. I am the original Atman. If this knowledge dawns on me, then the darkness of ignorance goes away. Swami Vivekananda says, there is a room, it is locked, and 1,000 years it is closed. You go and open the lock. Utter darkness, pitch darkness inside the room. There is no window, nothing. And the door is closed, that's all. That darkness, you open the door and you enter there. And you just fire one stick, matchstick. You burn the matchstick, the light comes. Swami Vivekananda asks us, will that 1,000 years of darkness, will it go away? Slowly. Will it take 1,000 years to disappear? When the light comes, how fast the darkness goes away? The darkness doesn't remain when the light is put on. Instantly the darkness goes away. Instantly. Though the darkness was remaining for 1,000 years. Any number of years it may remain, but it doesn't matter. When the knowledge dawns, your ignorance vanishes. Now, Jnana Yoga says that how the relationship between the knowledge and ignorance is. It gives a very beautiful example. The example we all know in our life. One man was walking in the twilight time, when the sunlight is going down, and the darkness is enveloping, and while walking, he suddenly stopped at a place and he found a snake. Immediately his heart started palpitating and he started feeling fear. And from the distance he's seeing dim light, and the moment he thought it is a snake, he was feeling fearful. But then he looked at it, and that was not making any movement. When it was not having any movement, he thought, what is this? Is this a snake? The question came upon him. And then he slowly walked near that, and he looked at it. And of course it looked like a snake, but then it is not moving, so let me go nearby. So he extended his hand and touched it. He found it was not a snake, it was a rope. And he took it in his hand. It was a mere rope. The Vedanta says here, the knowledge that it is a rope has removed the ignorance of that it was a snake. So what I have done, I thought the rope as a snake. That means I have superimposed the idea of snake onto the rope. But when I have come to know practically that it is not a snake, the knowledge has dawned on me that it is a rope, not a snake, the fear for snake is gone. So Vedanta says, like that, when the knowledge of Atman dawns on you, the ignorance vanishes. You are no more born. Because this Atman has no birth. This Atman has got no death. It is living eternally. It has got no beginning. It has got no end. And Gita says, Sri Krishna says, this Atman cannot be cut by any instrument or by any weapon or by any knife. It cannot be cut. And this Atman cannot be wet by water. It cannot be burnt by fire. It cannot be dried by the wind. Nothing can do anything to this Atman, because this Atman alone exists. Nothing else exists. The Jnana Yoga, the path of Jnana Yoga, is said to be very, very most difficult path among the 4 yogas. Because it gives you shock. Shock of what? What I thought very essential to me, what I thought they are going to stay with me for long and long and long, what I thought these things are mine, nothing is yours. Nothing is going to stay. These are all ignorance. Nothing is yours. So it is giving shock. Many people cannot absorb this shock. That's why the practitioners of Jnana Yoga are very few in number. You find more people are following Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, even Raj Yoga. But Jnana Yoga people are very, very less. You must have heard about Ramana Maharshi, who was staying in Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu in India. He was a great rishi. He taught this knowledge, that is the Jnana Yoga, to everyone. If somebody comes and tells him, "Sir, I am having so much of suffering," he would look upon him and then he said, "Who are you?" He would ask. Find out who are you. Is the suffering to your body or to your mind? If you are not body and if you are not your mind, the suffering doesn't belong to you. You are not having any suffering because you are the Atman. This yoga is a very tough yoga. And in one of the places, Swami Vivekananda gives an example of a rishi during from Mesopotamia, from Greece, that the king had gone to India. He was a great king, and he met one yogi, and he was sitting under a tree with only a lion cloth, nothing else he was there. And for eating, he would look at the tree, some fruits will fall down, and he would take those fruits. That's all his food. But then he had so much of knowledge, and the king was the Alexander the Great. So when Alexander saw this rishi, he went to him and he started talking to him. And the rishi told him so many new things that Alexander has never thought of in his life. Because in his country, these thoughts were not there. That behind the body, behind the mind, behind the ego, there is one subject, one entity is there. That is what you call X. And that X is Atman. And that is deathless. And that is birthless. And that Atman you are. Thou art that Atman. Tattvam asi. That's a very beautiful word in Sanskrit. Thou art that. That is the teaching the Guru gives to the disciple. Who are you? The disciple asks him, who I am? Then the disciple, Guru explains to him and he says, thou art that. Who is that? That which cannot be, which is not born. Who are you? You are that which has never death. Who are you? You are that which cannot be cut. Etc. etc. He explains. You are that Atman. So, when the king said, Sir, I find your knowledge is extremely important for me because my mind is slowly opening to that. And I have gone to countries after countries. I have invaded many countries. From Mesopotamia to India, I have been walking around with my soldiers. And in each country, when they used to hear that Alexander the Great is coming, invading our country, that king would come and he would take his crown and put it under my feet. And he said, Oh Lord, don't disturb our country. Whatever you want, wealth, you tell me, I will give you. And I amassed wealth and wealth and wealth. So much wealth I took. He said, I came to India. I have heard about India where the gold is there. Everywhere the gold is there. So I wanted to loot this country and take the gold to my country. I came here and then I met you, sir. And after meeting you, you have given me some knowledge. And you told me that none of these gold is going to go with me. When I leave the body, I am going to go alone. None of the property that I have had, none of the countries that I have conquered are going to come with me. I am going to go alone. As I was born alone, I am going to die alone. You gave me this wonderful knowledge. And also, you gave me the knowledge that there is something behind all these things. Dehinosmin, that Dehina, Asmin Dehina. So that indweller, there is one indweller is there in this body. Who is that indweller? That indweller is called Atman. You gave that wonderful knowledge. Sir, I want to take you to my country. I am now returning. Will you not please come with me? Then the Rishi said, look, Emperor, I am not interested to go anywhere. My life is over. I knew who am I. I don't need to travel anywhere. I will sit under the tree and eat the fruits of the tree. That's enough for me. And one day the body will fall upon on its own. And I will realize who I am. I am the Atman. Then the king said, Sir, do you know with whom you are speaking? You are speaking to the emperor, mind you. I can order you. I can even pack you and then take you with me. Don't say you won't come. I will give you biggest palace in that country. I will give you any number of servants you want. She started tempting him. The Rishi said, no, I am not going to be tempted by any of your offers, and I am not going. Then, emperor, you see, he has got that ego, emperor ego, that this pauper, this man who doesn't have even proper clothing, half naked, this man is refusing my command. So he got out of temper. And then he drew his sword. Hey Rishi, I will sever your neck now. I will sever your head if you don't come with me. Then the Rishi, instead of getting fear, which any other person would have got fear, but the Rishi started laughing loudly. Ha 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 ha. Like this sword fell from his hand. Vivekananda says, the sword fell from the king's hand. And he said, oh Rishi, why are you laughing? What is that I said that makes you laugh? He said, you have never said such a lie in your whole life so far. It's a lie? What lie I said? You just now said you are going to cut me to pieces. Oh king, there is no one can cut me, the Atman, into pieces. Because it was never born, because it has got no death, you cannot cut by any equipment, any weapon. You cannot cut. I am deathless, I am birthless. You can cut this body, my limbs you can cut, but you cannot cut me, which is Atman. And he again laughed. The king stood astounded. What a knowledge this man has got. And that is jnana. This Rishi has attained the jnana. And once you attain the jnana that you are the Atman, you will see everywhere the same Atman, everywhere. Nowhere you can miss. At that time, your perception changes of this world. The world that was temporary, the world that was going to destruction, that world is no more the same world for you because your perception has changed. You are now seeing the world as if the same Atman has become this world. The same Atman has become my wife. The same Atman has become my children. The same Atman has become by this big city. The same Atman is playing everywhere in different forms and different names. A wonderful question Swami Vivekananda raises in Jnana Yoga. You know, Jnana Yoga lectures of Swami Vivekananda we must read. It has come out in a separate book form also. It contains 16 lectures of Swami Vivekananda. He gave some lectures in London, some lectures in New York. These lectures have been compiled together and put in a book form, Jnana Yoga. That is the title. And that book, all these lectures were verbatim taken down by one of his stenographers. His name was Mr. Goodwin. And Mr. Goodwin, he's from UK, and he wrote down the lectures of Swami Vivekananda in stenography. Nowadays stenography is actually gone. Nobody follows stenography. But in those days, stenography was used very much needed. Anything, dictation, letters, etc., you call the stenographer. And there is a language. They don't write ABCD. They write in different signs. And then he can read what he has written. So he wrote it down, and he was a very fast writer. And Swami sometimes used to speak very fast. And it is an Indian accent, mind you. To understand that Indian accent, put it there. And those lectures are compiled so that they are wonderful. 16 lectures are there. You can read them. So in that story, we can see that how Swamiji speaks about this Atman. He says, once in the life history of Swami Vivekananda, an incident comes. The incident is written by Mary Louise Burke in her New Discoveries. Swamiji was standing in the New York station on the balcony, and he's looking down below. There's a road. So hundreds of people are moving the road, coming and going, because it's a railway station, very busy station. People are coming and people are going. And in those days, in 1800, you can think of that, how Swamiji was there. At that time, Americans used to have different types of dresses. Even today, if you go, what type of dresses men and women wear in America, that was not the dress at that time. The women used to wear some peculiar dresses with a long flowing gown and with the buff on the shoulders, etc. The dresses are there, you can see the photographs. So people are coming and going, and men were having these pants, very loose pants they used to wear, and with the boots they are walking. So all the and with the hats, every man must have the hat. That was the rule at the time. So if you are a gentleman, you must have a hat and a coat and the boots and pants. So Swamiji was putting his hands on the balcony, the stripe. He's looking down, and the lady who was with him, she was amused at Swamiji's looking, the people coming and going. She looked at Swamiji and said, Swamiji, you are amused at the people's different dresses, different colors of their clothing, and different types of makeup. Are you amused? You are looking at them. Swamiji became immediately, he was smiling, he had a smiling face. He became immediately serious. And he looked at the lady, said, what are you talking? I am seeing the same Chaitanya in all these beings. And I am wondering how that one indivisible Atman has taken so many forms and moving around. I am wondering that. So in Gita, Sri Krishna says, people wonder at the Atman. What is this Atman? When you come to face with that Atman, that knowledge, you start wondering. And Swamiji at that time was wondering how his own Atman is reflected in several people. One Atman reflecting in many. So some of the opponents give the argument, how can it be like that? There is one sun. So Vedanta gives an example. Don't you see one sun in the sky? Said yes. You keep 10 pots of water. 10 pots you keep, all together one after another. And then you look into the pot. Are you not seeing a reflection of the sun in the 10 pots? So if you count the pots, it is 10. So will you say that there are 10 suns in this world? What do you say? Then the person replies, the disciple replies, no Guru, no, not 10 parts, not 10 suns. 10 parts are reflecting the one sun. Then Guru tells the disciple, In the same way, one Atman that is there in this universe, which has become this universe, that one Atman is reflected in each of these parts. We are all parts. Not only we humans, animals are parts, birds are parts, trees and plants are parts. Whatever beings are there in this world, they are all parts. In that, the reflection is happening. Whose reflection? The one indivisible, indestructible Atman's reflection. So a question is raised. If a man goes and pickpockets from your pocket, why should you condemn it? If somebody goes and kills another person, murders another person, why do you take action on him and put him into jail? Sometimes give him the death penalty. In some countries still death penalty is there. Why do you kill him? Because he murdered somebody? Why do you want to stop that? Why do you want a pickpocket not to do the pickpocketing? Why do you want the man not to kill others? Why do you? So you may say, otherwise the society will be haphazard, the society will break down. To maintain the discipline of the society, the civil laws are enacted. That is only touching the surface of the problem. Vedanta goes much deeper. It goes deeper into the science, and it says that is only you are touching the surface. Why I should not kill another person? Why I should not pickpocket you? The reason is because I am you. If I murder you, I am killing myself. If I steal from your pocket, as if I am stealing from my own pocket. So a man of knowledge, will he do any wrong thing? Never. A man of full knowledge who has attained the Atman Jnana, that is the self-knowledge. It is called self-knowledge. Capital S, capital K, with a hyphen. Self-knowledge. That self-knowledge, if you have attained, you see yourself in everyone. So where is the crime at the time? No kind of crime can come. You will only serve everyone. Shiva Jnane Jiva Sheva. That is a mantra Swami Ramakrishna gave to Swami Vivekananda, his disciple. The Guru gave him this wonderful idea. Think of God, and the God is in every being, and serve every being. Because the God has become everything. In English we use the word God. And for Atman we use the word self. So the self is everywhere. So what is my duty? If another person who is ailing, who is sick, who comes to me, in what way I should serve him? I should try to give him medicines. I try to provide him, take him to a hospital and try to cure him. If a person comes who has got no knowledge, who has got no reading habits, what I should do? I must try to educate him. If you know something, you teach him. And if a poor person comes, he says, I don't have any money to eat, then give him some 20 euros and tell him go and purchase some bread and eat. So the same self has become everything. That means a person who is sick, a person who is illiterate, a person who is at poverty, all these people are myself only. Myself has become like this. So what I should do? I should love the mankind much more deeper level than any of the sociologists telling you to love. For the civil peace, they are telling you must love. In this meaning only you can understand Jesus' statement. Love thy neighbor not as anybody. See the sentence of Jesus. Very clearly says, love thy neighbor as thyself. Because I have become the neighbor. I am am in each being. The same Atman is existing everywhere. Only through Vedanta you can explain this wonderful statement of Jesus. Because he says he has realized that. He found himself in every being. So he had no condemnation, no word of condemnation to anybody. Even the most sinnest people that you consider. He came to that group. They were pelting stones on that lady. He stopped them. He said, if anyone has not done any sin in the past, he is allowed to pelt a stone. The entire crowd went back. He has got no word of condemnation. You see, because he has realized that. What he realized, God as his own, and he realized that God is within. This statement comes in many places in Bible. God is within. We are searching for him outside. It is in vain. You cannot find him. None of the temples can give you the God. None of the churches you go don't give you. You pray in hundreds of mosques, you can't see God. Unless you see God first in yourself. Once you have that knowledge that God is within me, that Atman is within me, then you will be able to put in everything in proper perspective. That perspective is what the life led after practicing Jnana Yoga. So, as I told you in the beginning, the Jnana Yoga is a very strictest discipline, and it is a very, very severe and very tough discipline. Suddenly you cannot think everything is God. Because in the world, the practical world, you see, some people are thieves are there, some robbers are there, some bad people are there. Tigers are there. Lions are there. Somebody asked Sri Ramakrishna, oh Master, you are telling everything is God. Then what? Then Ramakrishna asked him, for that, will you go and embrace a tiger? Tiger has got, God has created this world, and he has given each creature, each being has got its own nature. You cannot go and embrace a tiger because God is there. Be practical. Yes, God is in everything. Even in tiger, God is there. You are there. One example he gives about a novice who was practicing this religious tenet of Jnana Yoga. And then he was bitten by a snake. Not poisonous snake, but he fell unconscious. So he was lifted and put in the bed. The guru was sitting next to him. And the moment he opened his eyes, this disciple opened his eyes and looked. He came into consciousness, and he was looking around. Where is he now? He was looking around. And he is in the ashram. And the guru had a glass of milk. And he poured in his mouth. I said, my disciple, drink that milk. The guru wanted to test whether he has come to full knowledge, full consciousness. So he asked him, my dear son, who is feeding you now? Tell me. He asked whether he recognizes the guru or not. So he tested him. So the disciple said, he who came in the form of snake and bit me is now before me as my guru and feeding me milk. See the oneness. Oneness of everything that comes from the knowledge of Atman. It is a wonderful science. And many saints have gone through this and have attained. Once you attain this knowledge, there is no darkness at all to you. That means there is no ignorance. Ignorantly we are thinking, I am so and so, he is so and so, she is so and so. Nothing. There is no difference between any of these products in this universe. All these products are pervaded by one entity, and that is Atman. So this is the gist of Jnana Yoga. There are many other spheres or aspects of Jnana Yoga that can be discussed. Of course, it's a long time. But I wanted to utilize this 1 hour as an introduction only. So I would request you to please go through the Jnana Yoga book. It is available free of cost as a downloadable PDF copy from the internet. You can download it in your phone or in your computer, and leisurely you can read it. one after another. So it's a wonderful method of sadhana, of spiritual practice. So next week, we shall see Bhakti Yoga. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.